So this video is basically a curation of the most common types of errors that you'll come across when you're working with JavaScript. After watching this video, you'll be able to figure the source of the error and what exactly is happening just by looking at the type of the error. So let's get into it. Whenever you see errors in JavaScript, these errors are basically objects. So I can create an error just like a typical object. Now if I try to console log this error, you'll see that I just get this error message. I have created an error. And if I put a dot over here just like you would in case of objects, you'll see a list of properties and methods, but in this case we don't have any methods, but we have a few properties: message, name and stack. So if I console log the message property, I'll get the message that I passed in this error constructor. If I change it to name, I'll get the type of the error. In this case it's just a common error, it's not a specific error. So if I try to create a syntax error here, I'll be getting a syntax error. So the name basically means the type of the error that I'm trying to throw. Now let's take a look at the first type of the error, which in this case would be eval error. So JavaScript basically has this eval function which you can use to evaluate statements or expressions which are strings. So if I just put in 2 plus 2 here in the form of a string and I try to console log it, I get 4. So the only function that it has is it converts strings that are expressions into a valid result. So in this case we have a 2 plus 2 string which is an expression which is then evaluated to the result which is 4. Whenever there was an issue with this eval function, we would normally get an eval error. At least we used to get an eval error. Now what has happened is the ECMAScript specification has removed this error altogether. So you won't be getting this error now for the most part, but it's still there. The object is still maintained. So if you have used this function anywhere in your code, for backward compatibility they have maintained it, so you won't be the code will not break in case you have used this in your projects. But I would strongly recommend you to not use this function anywhere in your project, and I'll show you why. So if I try to execute this eval function in the console, browser console, I'll also be able to execute JavaScript statements because that's basically what it does. It executes JavaScript expressions and statements. So if I just put in hello, for instance, this works. There's a security vulnerability in this case. A bad actor could potentially inject malicious code into your script by just running his script in the eval function. So this is definitely a security hazard and you should not use this in your projects. The next type of error that we'll look into is the range error. So you'll get these type of errors whenever you try to pass in variables or parameters that are not in a valid range. So JavaScript engine has a set limit for its members. So if I try to create a variable or an array, for instance, and set the maximum number of elements to a limit that JavaScript does not allow, I'll get this error. I'll get the range error. So the maximum number of elements that JavaScript lets you put in an array, as far as I know, is 2 to the power 32 or maybe 2 to the power 32 minus 1. So basically these number of elements you will be able to put in an array. But if you even try to put one extra element inside the array, you'll get a range error. So now if I try to create a new array, you can see that an array has been created with that many elements. Now again, if I remove this -1, I'll get a range error because the valid limit has exceeded. One more such instance would be if I try to create an array with a negative length. So -1, if I try to do this, I'll still get an invalid array length error, which is a range error. Some other examples would be, let's say you have this floating point number. Now if I try to get 2 digits after the decimal point, I can use this method to shorten the length of digits after the decimal point. So basically if I put in 2 here, I'll get this 1.23, which is the first 2 digits after the decimal point. Now if I try to put in -1, you'll get a range error because -1 is not within 0 to 100. As you can see here, the argument must be between 0 to 100. So if I try to pass in 100 or 101, I'll get a range error again. So the range here is from 0 to 100. I'll only be able to set the number of digits between 0 to 100. If I try to go beyond 100, I'll get a range error. If I try to go less than 0, I'll get a range error. One more instance where you can get this error is if I try to, let's say, create a string. Now if I try to repeat this string by using the repeat method for, let's say, 5 times, I'll be able to do that. 5 iterations of this string you can see here in the output. Now if I try to put in a -1 here, I'll again get a range error because -1 is invalid. If I try to repeat this string for 2 to the power 28 times, so abc dot, I'll probably get a range error because the limit I guess here is 2 to the power 28 minus 1. So these are basically range errors. You just have to keep a check of whatever the values you are passing for your variables or parameters. Those values must not be beyond a range that JavaScript has defined for them. There's one more error that you'll commonly see in case of range errors. So if I try to run this recursive function here, I'll get a range error because whenever I try to run recursive functions, each function will have its own execution context. So every time a new recursion takes place, the function will be put into the call stack. So there are these many functions here. So since JavaScript call stack also has a limit, it will give you a range error saying that the call stack limit has exceeded. In Firefox, I guess you won't be getting it in the range error. The type of error would be something like an internal error, but it's basically the same thing. It happens when you exceed the call stack limit. The next type of error is a reference error. So you normally get reference errors when you are trying to access a variable that has not yet been declared. So in this case, the variable name is being accessed in this function which is invoked on line number 5, but the variable itself is defined on line number 6. So if I try to run this script, I'll get the desired string but with an undefined value. I'm not even getting an error. So this happens because of hoisting. What happens is, whenever the JavaScript engine runs this file, it will first allocate memories for all its members. So the functions or the variables are all given some memory in the JavaScript engine. When variables are allocated memory, they're also assigned an undefined placeholder value. This happens even before the execution. So this value will have undefined even before line number 1 is being executed. So this variable will have an undefined value even before the execution has started. So once the execution begins, this name variable has already been initialized as undefined. So this function gets executed first. So it goes line by line through this file. It will get to this function declaration. It will then look for its invocation, which it finds on line number 5. It will then create an execution context for this function. It will console log this statement. It will look for the name variable in the function scope first. Since it couldn't find the name variable in this scope, it looks for it in the global scope, which it does find here. But since it's still inside this function execution context, which was invoked on line number 5, this declaration never really happened. So it will go back to the value that was defined in the creation phase, which was undefined. So this is why it gives you this undefined string here. Now if I try to just replace this with a let, I'll get an error. Because let is a bit more stricter than var, it will not let you access it until and unless it has been fully initialized. So it basically gets fully initialized on line number 6. So no member will have access to this variable before line number 6. This is obviously similar for const declarations as well. So if I run this, I'll still get the same reference error. Let's say if I try to define a variable that is, let's say I try to access a variable which has not yet been defined. So if I try to do this, I'll get an error because A is not even defined yet. So it's trying to refer to A, but it's not there in the global scope, so it won't be able to access it. So it will give a reference error. One more instance would be if I try to create a function. Now if I try to run this, I'm trying to access the name variable inside and outside the scope. The name variable is defined in this function scope, but I'm trying to access it inside the function as well as outside the function. If I try to run this, I'll be getting an error, a reference error, which says that name is not defined because it's not present in the global scope. It's only present in the local scope. So if a variable is being accessed inside a scope which it is not a part of, you also get a reference error. Now the next type of error would be the type error. The JavaScript engine basically throws a type error whenever a variable or a parameter is not of an expected type. For instance, if I try to define a variable x with a value of 10, let me define it properly. Now if I try to use it as a function, so if I pass parentheses after this x variable, you can already see that there's a type error which says that x is not a function. Let's say you're trying to iterate over a variable which is not an array. It is a non-iterable. So let's say I create a variable x equals to 10. Now if I try to map over this x, I would get a type error because x is not an iterable. Now if I create another variable which is an array, so 1, 2 and 3, if I try to iterate over this, I'll be getting a proper result because A is an iterable and X is not an iterable. Also, let's say I'm trying to use string methods on a variable that is not a string. So I already have a variable X which is 10, which is a number. So if I try to do to lowercase, which is a string method, I'll get a type error saying that it is not a function because X is a number. X is 10. If I'm trying to use this over a number doesn't have a lowercase or an uppercase. If I create a string here and try to do this, I get the proper value because it is a string. So trying to use invalid type methods for a variable also will give you a type error. If I try to create a variable with a const declaration, so const num equals to 10. Now if I try to reassign a value to this const declaration, I get a type error because const declarations cannot be reassigned. So the next type of error is a URI error. So this type of error occurs whenever you are trying to use a URI function like encode URI or decode URI, but you are using it incorrectly. So what encode URI does is, it replaces each character from your string with its corresponding UTF-8 encoding sequence. So you can look it up on Google. For most of the characters, there's a corresponding encoding value. So whenever you're trying to encode an invalid sequence, you'll get a URI error. If you're also trying to decode an encoded string and it is malformed, that is not a valid URI, you'll also get this error. If I try to just do this, decode URI, and in this case, this is not a valid URI. So I get a URI error saying that URI malformed. The next type of error is an aggregate error. This error, as you must have already guessed, basically clubs together a bunch of errors in a single error. So whenever there are multiple errors reported by an operation, an aggregate error is returned with all the errors combined. The best example of this would be using a promise.any function. So promise.any basically takes in multiple promises, and when any one of those promises get resolved, it returns a promise with the value of the promise that was resolved. This might sound confusing. It's not really relevant for this example because we are not really resolving any promises. We're instead trying to reject all the promises, because if I reject all the promises inside the promise.any, I'll be getting an aggregate error. So if I just try to run this, as you can see, the name of the error is aggregate error, and inside the errors block I get an array of errors. Moving on to the final error, which is probably the most common error, which is the syntax error. This type of error gets triggered whenever you write code which is not syntactically correct. So first, let's take a look at how JavaScript breaks down your piece of code. So JavaScript engine basically runs your code in multiple phases. It will first break down your code into multiple tokens. This phase is called the tokenization phase. So let's say I have this piece of code here, let x equals to 10. What it will do is it will try to break this line into multiple tokens. So it will have let as a token, x as a token, equals to as a token, 10 as a token. So it knows that this is used for declaration, this is the identifier, this is used for assignment, this is the actual value. So it basically tries to make it more readable for the machine, for the JavaScript engine. The next step would be to make sense out of these chunks. So what it does is it creates a tree-like structure called the abstract syntax tree. This tree will basically give the JavaScript engine an idea of what this code is exactly trying to do. So it will try to assign meaning to all these tokens. It will say that let is used for declaration, x is the identifier, equals to is used for assignment, 10 is the actual value. So it tries to make sense out of these tokens. When it's trying to pass these tokens and trying to make sense out of them while creating the abstract syntax tree, if at all it comes across something that is not valid, it will basically return a syntax error. Let's say we are trying to use reserved keywords for identifiers. So if I try to let 10, this is a syntax error because obviously let is already a reserved keyword. Let is used for declarations, it cannot be used as an identifier. So if I try to convert a string to JSON, now this parsing will not happen because this is not valid. So if I run this, I'll be getting an error because normally JSON strings have keys in double quotes. So this is a valid string. So if I try to parse this into JSON, I will not be getting an error. This is completely fine. If there are missing or trailing commas or open brackets, these are pretty common. So anytime this happens, you obviously get a syntax error because it's not valid syntax. While trying to create tokens out of it, it won't be able to figure out what exactly is happening. So trailing commas, trailing brackets, trailing parentheses, trailing any sort of a special character that is trailing or missing for that matter will give you a syntax error. Functions that are nameless and are not immediately invoked will also come under syntax errors. So this function will obviously give me a syntax error because the function needs to have a name. So this will work. But this will also work if I immediately invoke this function. So it's okay to have nameless functions if you are immediately invoking them, but if you'll be referring to them in the future and not immediately invoking them, then you need to have a name for those functions. One more instance would be that you cannot leave a const declaration without initialization. So if I just create a const x and just try to run this, I'll get an error saying that it needs to be initialized. It's a syntax error. So if I do this will work. This is completely fine because const declarations need to be initialized when they are declared. So whenever I'm trying to do this is basically me trying to assign value 10 to this variable. A single equals to operator will assign the value to its identifier. If I add this and remove this let declaration, so if I'm using a double equals to operator, it means that I'm trying to check if the left hand side value is equal to the right hand side value. But if I try to use this single equals to operator, I'm basically assigning the value on the right hand side to the identifier on the left hand side. Yeah, that's a few common syntax error instances. There's obviously a lot more. These are the most common ones. So I hope this made sense to you guys. There will be a lot more videos coming soon on JavaScript, front-end frameworks, back-end frameworks, databases. All of that will be covered in the future videos, so do subscribe. And yeah, see you in the next one.